armed with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with a remote.
Welcome, dear students. Let us continue with lesson number 9 of Standard 9 Trade Part 2. In the previous, we have done with the definition of trade. Let us recapitulate. Trade is an economic activity of buying and selling of goods. We have seen with the types of trade, which includes trade classified on the basis of quantity of goods, trade classified on the basis of the extent of trade region. Here, trade on the basis of quantity of goods we have learned with wholesale trading and retail trading. On the extent of trade region, we have studied with domestic trading and international trading. Now let us proceed further with export and import of goods. Import and export. Export and import are the basic processes of international trade. Import. When a country buys those goods and services which are scarce in their own country from other country is known as import. In other words, we can say the import trade is referred to goods and services purchased into one's nation from another. The word import originates from the word port, considering the fact that the products are frequently transported in a ship to foreign countries. Similarly, to export, imports are also the backbone of international trade. Here, if the expense of a country's import is more than the value of its export, then the country has a negative balance of trade, which is also known as a trade deficit. Export. When a country produces excess goods or services than required, it sells these to countries which have a demand for it, and this is called export. Here, an export is in international trade is a good or service produced in one country that is sold into another country. The seller of such goods and services is an exporter. The foreign buyer is an importer. Export of goods often requires the involvement of customers authority. For example, we can take India exports tea and cotton. Balance of trade. The difference between the import and export values of a country in a specific period is called balance of trade. Following are the types of balance of trade. First, unfavorable balance of trade. Second, that is favorable balance of trade. Third, balanced balance of trade. First, unfavorable balance of trade. When the value of import is more than the value of export, it is called unfavorable balance of trade. That is, the difference between the value of a country's export and the value of its import is such that import exceed export. An unfavorable balance of trade is also called a trade deficit. Second one, favorable balance of trade. When the value of export is more than the value of import, it is called favorable balance of trade. If the export of a country exceeds its import, the country is said to have a favorable balance of trade or a trade surplus. Conversely, if the import exceeds export, an unfavorable balance of trade or a trade deficit exists. The third type of balance of trade is balanced balance of trade. When the value of export and import is almost the same, it is called balanced balance of trade. The image shows us the value of the export and import is the same, which refers to balanced balance of trade. Thank you.